5, 6, 7, 8. It's a mess, sis. Oh, it's a mess, sis.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. It's a mess, sis. So, what exactly is a mess? A mess is a situation or a state of affairs that is confused or full of difficulties.
The mess is when things don't go the way you plan. It is when you have to go off script, improvise, ad lib, sit through the awkwardness, and breathe through the pain until you come out on the other side, because you will come out on the other side. It is everything that makes life interesting and transformative. It is what we are here to do. It is how we learn how to be.
So, join us as we dive into this week's mess.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to It's a Mess, Sis, my favorite podcast. I'm Jess, working through the mess, and I am so glad you came back to hang out with us again today.
And I'm Rena. I'm your other host, and I'm back. I'm
Back,
back.
can she better?
Exactly. I'm
Period.
recharged. I'm refocused on my joy, and I'm so excited to be recording.
That's dope.
I'm so excited.
That's so dope. Okay, you guys are joining us for episode 61, The Better Half. Can embracing feminine energy complete you? And I am actually really looking forward to this episode. There's so much I want to dive in and talk about. But before we do, we got a little segment. Y'all know the segment. It's called What's the Mess? And I'm going to ask Rena, what is your mess?
So the mess is, we've been kind of MIA for a month, right?
Yeah.
And I've been tired. I got to the point where I had a hard stop. Like, my body said, you don't want to sit down? That's cool. I'm going to shut you down.
Period.
And I was really fighting taking a break. And it's something that I feel like I should have done a long time ago. It's something that I had been needing. I had started to feel a way every time I got on social media. I just started to feel overwhelmed and just frustrated. But I kept pushing through.
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah, and because I was seen as a character flaw. Like, I kept pushing even though everything was telling me to slow down.
Yeah.
But just the thought of taking a break terrified me. Like, I thought I would miss out on things, you know. And I thought I wouldn't get back up. Like, I thought, man, if we skip an episode, we've been doing this for 3 years straight, no breaks.
Right.
Like, are we gonna start back up again?
Right.
Right. I'm like, does this mean I'm lazy? Does this mean I lack ambition? I was just going real far with it.
Yeah.
Real far with it.
Yeah.
And, finally, after being forced to take a break, I realized it's none of that.
Right.
Once I was able to kind of sit beyond the fear, and I really had no choice but to just sit there and watch.
Right.
Because I was tired. Like, I was so tired.
Yeah.
It's to the point where I would go to work. Yes, I was still going to work.
Oh, my Lord.
And I would get home. Like, the first day I took off. I actually took off from work. That's how you know it's bad.
Yeah.
And I went to bed at 2 p.m. and slept all the way until the next day. Then I went to work and I left work at around 4. I got home at 4:30, went to sleep, slept the whole night to the next day. And then I just felt like as I got better, I was able to stay up later and later. And then finally I was able to stay up to my normal 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then I got mad then because I felt like I was getting better enough, just well enough to go back to work.
Yeah.
But I got my break out of it.
Yeah.
And it helped me really refocus my energy because I really had to say no to things and set up boundaries just to function. And I realized, and I've been saying this for months, my boundaries are loose with work.
Yeah.
So don't try me out here, hoes. Just with work.
Period. She said, don't try me, hoes. Oh, wait.
So I had to tighten my boundaries. And then I just realized I was giving too much energy to everybody but myself. So I was forced. I literally had to budget my energy and take energy back for me just to keep running. So but that ended up being a great lesson. So for the kids listening that you feel like you need to take a break, just take it. You take the break or you will get broken. That's all I'm saying.
Period.
And either way, you're going to get what you need.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's better if you choose. It's better if you choose it.
Yes.
I feel like it's better if you choose it for yourself versus being sat down.
Right. I was sat down hard. So, I don't have it figured out.
Yeah.
But I feel like with that break, I was able to get a little bit more clear about what I'm doing and, you know, what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I needed. I got what I needed out of it. So that's my mess. I'm back at it. I proved myself wrong. Thought I wasn't going to be recording no more. And no, I didn't really think that, but it was a fear. So, you know,
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, wow, like I'm really just gonna let this take me out to where I can't record the podcast
ever again?
Like for real?
Right.
And I still gotta go to work.
Right. Oh my God. It's so interesting to me that no matter what, we are still trying to understand rest.
I thought you said still going to work.
I mean, also that, because I mean, well, we know why we do that, but just still having these conversations with yourself about, I need to rest, and then not feeling like you have the allocation of time to do that. Yeah. It's always so intriguing to me because I feel you. I absolutely feel you.
Right. It's like, I got to a point where I was doing everything to make sure I was just good enough to go to work so I could, you know, keep supporting myself.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't saying, let me get this cough down so that I could go to the doctor. In fact, people are like, why haven't you been to the doctor? It's like, because I had to go to work. Right. So it's just, I think we need to revisit that rest episode. It may be something we need to do every quarter.
Every quarter. You absolutely fucking right. Did we get enough rest this quarter? No.
Like, what are your rest earnings this quarter?
Exactly.
Negative 34.
Rest earnings. Right.
Negative rest earnings. We got no rest. Negative rest.
That's hilarious. Oh my God. Oh. Well, it is a mess, but I'm glad that you pulled through and was able to give yourself that time to get yourself like back on, you know, track. And I'm glad that we are back recording also.
Right. Yeah. I am just so excited to be back. This is just, I have no words. Like this same. Right here is just, I missed you.
Oh, I know. It's been forever. That's part of my mess.
Okay.
So it's been forever.
All right.
I feel like we've been gone a month. It just feels like a long ass time. I'm like, geez, I missed the conversation. I missed talking to you guys, letting you know how we are, how we've been, and I'm excited to be back. That's a little part of my mess. The other part is that I got a little sniffles. I don't know what's going on. I feel like it's just, you passed it all the way to the West Coast.
It's viral.
But I feel like it is. That's hilarious. You're so ridiculous. I feel like it's just like the crud, you know, like a little, you know, how the seasons change and you get like a little allergies or a little, you know, a little whatever. I feel like it's that. But I feel like my real mess is that it's not unlike times in the past, but my life is moving like really fast these days. So I have like a lot of projects and a lot of new opportunities that are coming my way. And I feel very excited about them, right? But my excitement and my energy are not in alignment. And so I feel very excited, but my energy is like, you know, it's not on the same level. And that is because I hadn't been taking the things that I needed to take, i.e. my vitamins and things of that nature. So I needed to take iron, I need to take B12. I have now also included vitamin D so that I am, you know, equipped with the things that I need, so that I can have the energy for all the exciting things that are coming my way. So that is my mess, is that I always find that for a while I'll do really well, but if I run out of medicines to get back on track, sometimes it takes me like another 3 months, like, oh shit, okay, let me get that back. But in the meantime, I saw somebody talking about, and this kind of applies to what I was saying, but there was like a little video of saying like, when you have to get back on your antidepressants because you thought you felt better, but you realized it was just the medicine. And I feel like that was the same for my vitamins and stuff. Like I was taking all my vitamins and feeling really good, and then feeling like, I don't know, I feel like I'm okay. I don't feel like I need that. No, bitch, you do. So now I'm just kicking myself into gear and getting back on that whole regimen of like just really being well taken care of, making sure I have all the vitamins, the nutrients, the minerals that I need, enough water, all this stuff. I'm just back on this, like really, trying to make sure that I'm well within my soul.
That piece, that water piece.
Yes.
Like when I was on it, I was drinking water. I was like hitting my goals and I felt great. I honestly think that I got sick partially because I was dehydrated.
Oh, and you're probably right.
Like I had stopped drinking coffee. I had switched to decaf, and then this job started stressing me out. So I needed something to pick me up. So I got back on coffee, and then I got back on like carbs and sugar, everything I had gotten off of. I even got back on dairy.
Oh, no.
And my body was like,
what are we doing?
Really? What are you doing? What are you doing? The least you do is drink water, but you're not drinking the water and you're drinking the coffee. And I think that's why I got sick. Like, and I thought I was good. Like I was feeling good. So I'm like, oh, my body could take a beating again. Like,
oh no.
Take a little neglect,
Oh no.
Like just so I could keep running. Yeah. And it ran me into the ground.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right.
Yeah. It's just right. Look, let me pull me up a little bit too. It is just, I think, as I've said this and it's true. It's just so hard to take care of yourself sometimes. It's a lot of different factors, a lot of different facets. And the world isn't set up for you to be able to take care of yourself in that way. Like the food that we eat, if you just go out to a normal meal and get a meal from a restaurant, they're not like, oh, all the nutrients are in this meal. So you've got to be really cognizant of what you're eating, what you're putting in your body, the stressors from environmental, your family, everything, your job.
They don't give a fuck about what they're feeding you.
You said what?
They don't give a fuck about what they're feeding you. That's your responsibility.
It is. And I'm not complaining, but I'm just talking about it, but it is definitely, our responsibility, but sometimes that feels like it's never ending. And so, yeah, that's my mess. I'm just back on it, back up on my bullshit. Hey. You know what I mean? Trying to make sure that I'm back to the streets. Cause it's summertime, you know what I'm saying? I gotta be ready for these streets out here. Right. I'm feeling summertime fine. So I want to feel good in my mind, my soul, and my body.
Oh, look, that's all right.
Period. Oh, exactly. So that's the mess. I'm looking forward to the things that are coming, as well as like for my health to be just better, for my energy levels to be on the rise and on the incline. So that is the mess.
Okay.
So go ahead. Mess. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just talking over you.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. I've missed this. This.
Right. Of course.
Of course.
We have to interrupt.
Of course. Like, what kind of podcast would it be if we did it?
Right. What kind of conversation would it be?
Whack.
Right. That's what we had to do when we were on Skype, though. Remember?
We really did. Skype was really fucking with us.
Right. It took us forever to realize we shouldn't have done that.
It did.
This is an ad for not using Skype.
Don't do it. Come on over to
don't use
Zoom.
Skype.
That's hilarious. Okay.
Oh, Zoom, if you want to sponsor us, because we just actively discourage our listeners from using Skype.
Yeah. Let us know. We're here. Okay. If you'll remember, this is episode 61, The Better Half. Can embracing feminine energy complete you? Now, why did we choose this topic right
now? Okay, so this was my topic, right? Mm-hmm. It's been so long ago, I don't remember who brought this up. So why this topic? Because I believe there is power in feminine energy, and we don't talk about it enough. And we were supposed to record this 2 weeks ago, so we'll fit in with our Women's History Month theme. Yeah. And I got sick, but I feel like this isn't a topic that you just have to have, surrounding women and women's history. Right. I feel like feminine energy is something we all possess, no matter the gender. And I feel like there's this belief that we hold that feminine energy is lesser than masculine energy and exclusive to women. And I just feel like that is not true. I feel like it is an untapped resource for everyone. And I want to explore how to tap into it because I need it. I need some energy. I think this is energy I'm missing.
Yeah.
And I want to tap. Yes. Tap in. That's what our title should have been.
Oh, you're right.
We're going to change it.
Tap in. Okay.
To feminine energy. Let's change it.
I like it. Yes. I like it. Okay.
Okay. So tell us again what our episode
Okay, so everybody, thank you for joining us for episode 61, Tap, Tap, Tap in Feminine Energy.
That's
yes,
it. That's it. Don't you love how we just changed just in the middle of the episode?
In the middle, bow, chicka, bow, bow. Okay, so I agreed to the topic because, as Rena said, we were supposed to do this in Women's History Month. It was supposed to coincide with that, but also just to dive deeper into what it means to be feminine, what it means to be, in tune with, divine feminine energy and things of that nature. So I am definitely looking forward to diving in. So with that being said, Rena, let the people know what the agenda is for this episode.
All right. So the agenda, as always, is the DIC, which stands for Define, Impact, and Cope. Not that other thing that y'all be chasing. Anyway.
A week.
This episode, we define feminine energy, what it is, how it's used, and then we discuss the impact of feminine energy in our lives and round it out with how we cope with feminine energy from here on out. Also, we make each section clearly known. I've been forgetting it the last couple of episodes.
Yeah.
We make each section clearly known. So feel free to pause throughout. You'll hear Jess or I say, oh, we're at the definition or we're at the impact cope. You can take that time to pause, journal something out. We designed this is for us, but we also want you to get something out of it. So if you feel like following along, that is one way you can go about doing so. Or you could just kind of think on the fly and just keep it playing. Do whatever feels right for you.
Yes, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yes,
I'm so proud of you. Even with the break, look at you.
That's why I needed the break. Because I was breaking down. I was forgetting stuff.
Yeah, I feel you. Okay, so as Rena said, I'm going to let you know now we are to the definition. And so for me, I have to ask myself, what is femininity?
What is it?
A little research on the Google defines it as a set of attributes, behaviors, and roles generally associated with women and girls. Femininity can be understood as socially constructed, and there is also some evidence that some behaviors considered feminine are influenced by both cultural factors and biological factors.
Okay.
So that was the way that they defined it. And I feel like
PC, very politically correct.
Yes, of course.
Femininity is being feminine.
Period. That's what they told you. I feel like historically, even if subconsciously, my own definition was that I always, or maybe not defined it, but I always considered femininity to be weaker or lesser. And I think you kind of said something about that, earlier. And there are a plethora of reasons why. I grew up with brothers, and I definitely equated their freedom as a positive for men and a negative for girls, So the first memory of this difference of freedom is that I had to wear a shirt outside in the summer. And eventually I had to wear a bra to harness myself.
Oh, I was so mad when I had to wear a bra.
Same. It was, my mom was furious with me because I would just stop, but my boobs got big so quickly. She was like, okay, this is enough. But I was like, they're literally outside with no shirt. It's fucking hot. They're outside with no shirt on. They get to just be free. And I'm covered and harnessed and bound, right?
Ooh.
Yes, that's how I felt.
Harnessed and
then
bound.
later on in life, when my little brother, this is another, negative that I felt that was negative for feminine or, whatever, is that my little brother, younger than me, 4 whole years, was allowed to stay out and walk around the town at night later than I was. All of these things were done in the name of protecting me, but it always felt restrictive and therefore less. It always felt less than, it never felt great. It never felt good, so that's my definition. I'll go more into it in the impact, but that's how I define it. And that's how I have historically, in the past defined it or felt about femininity. There was always this side eye at it, I think, just kind of like,
Yeah, no. And now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, it almost felt like society was guarding us.
Yeah.
And it always felt like there was something somebody wanted to take from us. And in a way, nobody said like, oh, it's because, you know, you have worth. They always made it seem like, oh, because you're weak and you need protecting. But who's just sitting around protecting weak things that nobody, with no power, that nobody wants, you know?
Right.
So it's like, is it protection or is it control? Like you said, we can get into the impact, but
yeah, what's your definition?
So for me, I don't use Google. I just use the good old noggin here.
That good brain God gave
the
you.
noodle.
The noodle.
Noodle.
It's so ridiculous.
So for me, feminine energy is receiving energy. And I see it as a contrast to masculine energy, which is that do energy.
Okay.
Or that giver energy. And I feel feminine energy is about nurturing and cultivating and sorting out the fine details. So I view feminine energy as one half of duality or balance of like a whole person or a whole energy. You know, everything in energy is about balance, right? So we have positive and negative, we have masculine and feminine, we have push and pull, yin and yang. And I feel like neither is good or bad. They just are, but they complement one another and they make a wholeness. So feminine energy is just one aspect of that.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't mean it's greater or less than, but it doesn't make it, it's just needed. That's what
it just is.
It's just needed.
Right.
You know?
Wow. That's a really amazing definition.
Oh,
I like that, especially the feminine energy is receiving energy. Like that really resonates with me. I agree with that. And I think that's why I've had trouble with femininity and receiving.
Right. But we receive for a reason. I feel like we receive so that we can grow things and we can nurture things. Like you hand something to a woman and we're not just gonna just let it drop. We usually make things better. We look at it, we assess it, we grow it, we nurture it, we love it.
Yeah.
You know, and then and that thing becomes something greater.
Wow. You're right. Wow, that's amazing. I really love that definition. I'm gonna be sitting with that for a little minute.
Ooh.
Okay, so I think now we're to the impact then, yeah?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay.
So what is it? What's the impact?
The impact is that I've had a constant battle with feeling like a feminine being.
Okay, I feel you.
I think I was at war with it. You know, I hated when I cannot stress enough how much I hated being told to be ladylike, because it was again like dial yourself back or make yourself small. That was everything that I ever heard when I think about what it meant to be a lady. It meant to take on shit that nobody else wanted to take on. It meant to do things that everybody else didn't want to do. It meant to be smaller and quieter and smaller, literally in your chair, cross your legs. Whereas men can man spread, women cross your legs to be smaller, to be dainty, to be light. And for me, that just felt like weakness, you know? And that's the way I heard it. And in turn, I didn't embrace it. I didn't want to be ladylike. I still, if somebody said to me right now to be ladylike, I would have to fight everything in me to not give them a stank ass attitude, a weird ass face, because I'm just like, fuck you. I don't have to be lady shit. But I think the impact is that I'm actually learning how beautiful softness is and how to cultivate emotional intelligence, which I do think is a lot of, it could be societally put upon us, but I do feel when I think about emotional intelligence, I think about a feminine energy that is emotionally intelligent, because like you said earlier, it's a receiving energy. So I feel like in order to receive another person's emotion and to comprehend it and to be intelligent about it, it is to receive that emotion and take it and say, oh, okay, I can understand that kind of thing. So the impact for me overall is that for a long time, feminine, that I just remember being younger and my mom being like, oh no, let the boys, no, not let the boys, nothing. I'm about to help pick up all the furniture. I moved every piece of furniture. I brought in almost all the groceries. I did all the shit because I was like, you're not about to tell me I can't do shit, you know, because I'm a girl. I'm going to do it all. So I was always in this proving state to prove that I was just as strong and just as tough as the boys. And I don't think it was ever taught to me that I could be both, or that I needed to have that balance, because I admire and I love and I appreciate so much my strength. And I have always found that my delicateness or my softness was something to be hidden or something to be ashamed of. And
yeah, you don't
now,
nobody catching you slipping.
Right. Don't nobody ain't gonna catch me slipping. But I think my first insight and foray into like learning about womanhood was when I went to college, because I went to a all women's college.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
I went to and my mom was like, and you know, as queer as I am, my mom was like, we should go to this women's college. I was like, I know, I ain't trying to go be with no whole bunch of girls. I ain't trying to do that. I don't even like girls like that. Like, not like that, to be around y'all. Like, I like y'all, like, whatever, but I'm not trying to be around y'all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just a real backwards fucking mentality. So I got to the school and I met all these women in different areas and walks of life. And it just really kind of opened my eyes to what womanhood or femininity is and was. And it's still taking me some time to kind of process that. But yeah, that's the impact, is that I'm learning now even more to embrace my softness, you know?
You know, I am realizing just in hearing you talk, because I too struggle with feminine energy, right?
Yeah.
But now when I look at women who are able to just be so receiving and so soft and to do so unapologetically, I realize that's vulnerability.
That is.
And I'm in awe of it, because I'm like, you really feel safe enough to just be out here and not be looking like the strongest person, or like you could defend yourself at any moment. In fact, it's like you have faith that you're going to be okay. Like you feel like you're safe enough to be soft.
Ooh, safe enough to be soft. Wow.
And I see it in white women a lot.
Yeah.
They're very soft.
Yeah.
Like they don't lift shit up.
Yeah.
And they're okay with that because they feel safe. And I never felt that level of safety. I too was that kid, and I didn't grow up with brothers. Yeah. You know, it was just me and my mom. And I remember just priding myself on lifting like all the groceries up like to the third floor of our apartment and being like, this box has to be like 50 pounds. And my mom being like, yeah, you're really strong. And I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm strong.
I am. Yeah.
Because I felt like I needed that. I felt like that was going to protect me, you know? And I don't think even though my whole family is full of women, everybody just always seemed to be so strong. Yeah. Like I only saw women, but I only saw one type of energy, masculine energy.
In the women.
There's barely any men in our family.
Right.
You know, and whoever was there, they ran off or they died, or we just kind of don't know what happened to them.
No.
So, you know, if somebody owned a house, it was a woman who owned a house. You know, if somebody going to work, it was a woman going to work. If somebody was providing, it was a woman. You know, and as a young kid, I never, even though my grandmother would say slick shit like, you know, if you don't know how to vacuum, you don't know how to cook, how you gonna get a husband if you don't know how to cook, right? And I was just like, I'm probably not gonna have one of those.
That's hilarious.
No, and I'm like, so I probably should get a job. So who gets jobs? You know, you need masculine energy to get jobs, and that's the way society plays it. If you're a woman and you're dating, you're a homemaker. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna be making no damn home.
That's hilarious. So I ain't making nobody home.
Right. So it's like, I just got to this point, like I guess from my observations from a young child, I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to be in a position where I could solely receive. And that's what I struggle with, receiving, which I feel like is quintessential feminine energy. Yeah. I'm like, nobody's coming to give me something. They may come to take it, and I have to protect myself. Yeah. And that's a very masculine energy right there. I always felt like I need to protect myself at all times. Society told me I need to protect myself every time they told me to cross my legs or don't do that, or, you know, don't stay out late. Don't stay out late. You need to be on this porch at 7 p.m. when the street lights go off. So I don't think anybody ever told me that, but it's just a combination of, you know, I felt like I had to be strong. Yeah. And I had to do for me. And also at the same time do for others, which is weird. You know, because feminine energy is also about doing for others. Right. You know, it's kind of like taking that receiving something and then kind of making it better and putting it back out there.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like, you know, feminine energy is womb energy. You know, we create things. We take something in, we develop it, cultivate it, and birth it out. That's what we do.
Yeah, wow.
So I felt like I had to cut that off to survive. Yeah. Wow. And yeah. So it's like at this point when it comes to like receiving, I panic. I don't know how to do it. I don't feel comfortable in it. It feels foreign to me. And and I think that's because think about it. Whenever somebody needs some type of support or help, we immediately say, you know, they're weak, or we say they're like beggars. So if femininity is about receiving, you know, for me to take this compliment from you, to take this money from you, to be provided with a home, to me, that's weak.
Yeah. Oh, we've got shit fucked up.
Right. But also without receiving energy, I can't. How do you receive pleasure? How do you receive help? How do you receive guidance? How do you receive support and compliments? It's like, so the impact for me overall is I feel like I've been working so hard, constantly working and constantly doing without any reward, without receiving anything. And I feel like I'm doing a whole lot for nothing.
Yeah. Jeez.
And that's what I said. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing to have masculine energy. You know, I don't think it's a bad thing to have feminine energy. What I think is they're supposed to work together. They're
in conjunction with one another.
Right. Yeah. So I have all this masculine energy and my feminine energy is on E. So I'm doing work, putting it out, doing for others.
And receiving nothing.
Wow. And then you get to that point in life where you're like, why am I here?
Right.
What am I doing it for? Right. Because at least men, I feel like when they are doing, there's somebody receiving it. Yeah. And somebody cultivating it and putting it back out. You know, they always say behind every great man is what? A great woman, right?
Right.
So like, you know, like there's even in that, it's implied that you need like that feminine energy. Right. You need that person who's going to kind of support you, who's going to like take whatever you're doing and make it great.
Right. And multiply it, amplify.
Multiply, yes, and amplify it. Be fruitful and multiply. I mean, that's about something else, but it's also about the same thing.
High key. It's just it's just birthing things into reality.
Right.
That's wild. I mean, I feel like,
and I'm afraid to receive, especially like that. I ain't receiving no seeds now. I ain't
That's hilarious.
Nurturing it in my soil. Hell no, I'm not bearing no fruit.
Absolutely not. No, but I just wow. That's amazing, because you're absolutely right. Because even if they even say like, oh, if you give a woman anything, it doesn't just stay like that. You could give a woman a house and she's gonna make it a home. Right. You give a woman your seed, she's gonna make a child, you know, kind of thing. And like, I think power. Femininity, it is power. And I wish that, because I understand where the restrictive nature came in, like from because I'm thinking about my own upbringing and why it felt like weakness to be a woman and to be ladylike felt really diminishing. And some of it was ignorance and church, you know, mentality type shit. But some of it I understand as just a protection mechanism and tool. And I wish that would have been more, I wish I would have understood that more, instead of just feeling like, well, you can't go out because it's not safe for you. And like, I just always felt like it was about me. Like I was the one in the wrong for being a female and a woman and feminine, instead of saying like the world is fucked up.
Right. Let me ask you.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So if somebody would have presented it as like, I am doing this, yes, because like the world is a mess and you're valuable, not because you're weak. Yeah. Because you're valuable. Do you think if it was presented like that, it would have felt different?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes, of course. I feel like if we would have presented it like, and I think a lot of it comes from fear. A lot of our parents are fearful because girls are snatched off the street. And I understand that now as an adult. Girls are literally taken in, sex trafficked or made into slaves or whatever the situation is. Girls are very much so in danger, especially at young ages and things like that. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. And so I understand the fear behind it, but then it doesn't correlate to me being a valuable being. It correlates to you are, how can I say? It's like, because you're a girl, it's dangerous. It's not that it's dangerous and you're valuable and this. It's like, because you're a girl, you have to do all this shit or blah, blah, blah. So I feel like, it would have totally made a difference in my mind if somebody had said, you are valuable in the world, and some people don't know how to respect that, and some people don't know how to protect that, and because of that, I'm going to protect you in this way. I don't want you to feel less than. I don't want you to feel like the boys can do more than you, and I understand you feeling that way, and so here's how we manage that. Here's how we, you know what I'm saying, something. So definitely it would have made, I think, a difference if it was just regarded in a different way, I think.
And you know what, this is kind of off topic, but still kind of in the same vein. What message is that sending to like your brothers, where your family is coming around saying, okay, Jessica, I'm sorry. Okay, Jessica, you stay in the house, we have to protect you, but them little niggas, y'all just go out there, be all out there in them streets. I don't care what happened to you.
Right.
Like, in what ways are we reinforcing this idea of neglect in men and masculine energy when we don't show them the same level of care and protection as we show to our girls?
Okay, yes.
And maybe part of the reason why it's so dangerous out there for girls is because these boys have been allowed to just roam free without any direction or protection, or consideration.
Right.
Don't they want to feel like somebody cares about where they are at midnight?
Right. It was never midnight, and my mom had, she still had her rules and stuff for them, but you're absolutely right. Like,
what's the chief complaint with men nowadays once they get a little older and they're not afraid to flex some of their feminine energy? They're like, don't nobody care about me. Yeah. It's so hard to be a man. Women have to have their emotions. Don't nobody care about me. Don't nobody love me. Don't nobody love Ray.
Right. That's true. I can see how they would feel that way.
So it's just like, toxic masculinity is toxic to everyone, but
to everyone.
And I'm not saying masculine energy is bad. I don't think it's bad at all. But, I guess it's the balance when you try to separate it and isolate it to just one gender. So like you have these men out here who are just like, I'm a do, and they don't even take the time. They haven't been nurtured in that way to consider why they're doing what they're doing.
Right.
That's dangerous.
It is.
If you just set something off, right? And its only direction is to do. Its only code is to do.
Yeah.
You don't think about any of the fine details. That is a dangerous automated weapon.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how we don't raise boys. We just say, go out there and be a man. What is that?
What is that?
But then you have a woman who, like, I feel you when you say that, like, they always make it seem like it's dangerous for women, and it makes it seem like it's a flaw on our part that we're weak, but you're not checking the people who are putting us in danger.
Right.
But then you're not also teaching us to protect ourselves, because that's not ladylike.
Right.
So by not telling us that we're valuable, so that like I feel like I'm being protected because I'm a burden and because I can't protect myself because I'm weak.
Yeah.
It'd be different if you're like, you're valuable.
Right.
You cultivate greatness. And that's why we want you home, because we don't want anybody who's out here just automated to, just dick everything down.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of what they're saying, but it's like, it's not in that way.
Yeah.
It's like, they make it seem like any of these guys would just come up and just take us out.
Right. Right.
And there's nothing we can do about it.
Right.
There's nothing that can be done about it.
Right. And there's nothing that can be done about them being that way.
Right.
It's just like, well, it is what it is. The world is dangerous. Like, okay, but why? Because y'all are not teaching boys how to not be dangerous.
Right. And you're just vulnerable, weak women. And because you can't lift a certain amount of weight, then you're just small-minded. It's so weird.
You should have
right. It's like you're just a woman. I'm like, and they make it seem like that the things that have become synonymous with feminine intelligence, which is being caring and cleaning and maintaining a home, they're like, oh, what do you know, little lady? All you do is clean houses. But if you leave a man in a home for 3 days by himself, that house will look like a war zone.
I'm fucking weak.
Like they
Depending
go
on
out
the
of their
man.
way.
Depending on the man.
They go out
My
of their way
brothers
to
are very
make
clean.
good for them.
I know.
Thank you. Somebody.
Yeah, I had to rep them. There's some.
Okay, you're right. You're right. It's not an everybody thing.
True.
But do you feel like they were put in a position where they were allowed to embrace their feminine energy?
Yes.
Do you think that's contributed to like how they're able to be more well-rounded as a human being?
Yes, absolutely. Tears, emotions, I mean, all of those things were very much embraced in my house. It wasn't, I've heard men say that even their mom was like, man, you better stop crying, boys don't cry, things like that. That was never the upbringing that we had. My mom expected us all to do, that is one thing I will give her. Everybody had to do everything. I did yard work and the boys did housework. I can go out and trim the hedges. I can, edge my lawn. I can mow my grass. I can wash my dishes, do my laundry, and so can my brothers. We can do everything. So that is the one thing that I will say that was really great in my upbringing. But your home is only so big. And I mean that by like, you don't just learn from your home environment. You learn from other people and how they look at you and how they view you and how they allow you to be, whatever. I remember one time I was in like 4th grade and this lady was like watching us because my mom had to go, I don't know, to the hospital or something. And it was like we had like a summer camp little thing after school. And my mom had bought me this really cute 1-piece bathing suit. And she was just having a hissy fit about the bathing suit. And I was just like, what? Because the boys are out here with shorts and they hold titties out.
Not the boys with their titties out.
Because
some of the boys did have titties.
I mean, I didn't mean like that. But like the chesticles. Yeah. Like, come on. Like,
no.
Their chesticles was out and nobody was trying to protect their modesty, their dignity. And I just always was like, what?
And that's just it. That's just it too. It's like, that just tells you everything is out of balance because those boys deserve protection too. I'm not saying that they should have to wear a shirt or whatever, but it's just, I don't know. This is kicking up something that I didn't really, expect for it to kick up. Just
like what?
Just seeing how when the scales are tipped, when things are uneven, just what happens. Like you think, like women were seen as weak, but then that puts pressure on boys to be overly strong.
Yeah.
So now they feel like they have to protect us and they don't deserve protection.
Yeah. Wow. Damn. We should have somebody on to talk about masculinity, how they feel about that.
We should.
What they feel that looks like and feels like for them.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
Right. We do. We need to just get like a whole bunch of guys on
and
talk
about it, dig it down.
Yeah. Because
I'm interested.
Because when you sit down and they feel comfortable, they have a lot to say and they have a lot of needs, but they just don't feel like I guess they feel like their needs won't be validated.
Of course. Especially it has to do with something outside of, hardness. If it's an emotional need, they haven't historically been met.
And I'm just exactly. And now I'm just seeing how just the separation of masculine energy and feminine energy really serves society.
Yes.
Because
absolutely.
In a way, like everybody feels like they're missing something.
Yes.
Because if you have both and they're balanced, you're good. You kind of, you're self-sustaining. You're able to protect yourself. You're also able to receive. You don't really feel like you're missing anything because you're whole. Yeah. But if you're just feminine energy, it's like, well, you need all this makeup and all this stuff. You need a husband. You need all these things so that you feel safe.
Right.
But then, and if you're a man, then you need this creatine and then you need these power tools and you need to get a house so you can have a woman so that you can protect her.
Right.
Because you need a woman so you can have a family.
Right.
And, and it's just, I just wonder who we would all be if we didn't feel like we had to choose.
Right.
You brought that up earlier that you felt like you had to choose. And I felt that too, like,
of course,
and I said, I'm going to choose the strongest energy.
Yeah. Same.
Energy.
Same. Same, because it felt at least that there was some level of control that they had. And it felt like that was a more protected energy. Like that was
A
like
freer energy.
a freer energy. And I wish that the balance would have been, because I feel strong because I'm strong. So I wish that instead of having to pick or choose, there would have been a really great conversation about the balance of it, about the ebb and the flow and the yin and the yang, like you were saying earlier. Like, I wish there would have been a more healthy conversation about that, because I do feel like as beings, we are both masculine and feminine, and we are, you know, we're all the things in order to be a balanced creature. I feel like the balance has to, like you said, the energy has to be balanced. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I think feminine energy gets a bad rap.
It does.
It gets a bad rap. And I feel like that's bringing us to the cope.
Right.
Yeah. So
right.
I think for me, the way that I cope is by looking to other women and
Oh.
seeing the beauty in their softness. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I cope by feeling the softness in my own body and embracing it instead of shaming myself for it. I cope by loving women fully and wholly, and in turn, I can love myself. And I also am coping by checking my own misogyny and changing my own mind about what it means to be feminine. Not really looking down on the idea of femininity, not looking down or feeling less than because I am a feminine being. Really just trying to find the balance for myself and embracing it fully.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. And that's part of my cope. Like I am seeking balance. You know, at first I thought, okay, I'm doing all this masculine energy and I'm protecting myself. That's great. And then I felt bad about that because I'm like, well, I'm not feminine, you know? And then if I'm not feminine, but I'm like female bodied, then what the fuck is that? That's just a whole confusion, you know?
Right.
And then I'm like, well, I need to work on being more feminine. And I do, but not to be solely feminine.
Yeah.
Like
to be balanced.
Like that's what I want. I'm coping by, I want to be still more. I want to rest more. I want to clear my head so I can receive guidance instead of just running myself ragged, you know. And I feel like I can acknowledge my masculine energy is thriving. I have that. And that's cool. That's great because I have a work ethic and I can do things for myself. And that's exactly what I want. But I want to put more effort into my feminine energy and not just become like a damsel in distress, but, you know, to become me, to become all of who I am. So, and it's something I realize I have to practice.
Yes.
You know, and
softness as a practice.
Yes. I have to figure out what's going to make me safe to express that energy, to be okay with being vulnerable in that way. And I guess, honestly, I've become a lot more vulnerable over the years. And I think, you know, safety is, I don't think I'm ever going to be 100% safe to do anything. So I guess I'm now focusing on seeing like the value and the worth in feminine energy. Because, you know, life could feel really just like unpleasurable when you're constantly just working. And then when somebody gives you a compliment, you can't receive it. Or somebody's trying to pay you what you're worth, you're kind of questioning it, you know. And I want to receive, and I deserve to receive. I want to do both. I don't want to, and I don't want to always feel like I'm just giving, you know, because after a while you build resentment. And now I see sometimes why guys feel the way they do. It's like I just feel like I'm always giving, not receiving anything, and it's so hard for them to receive. Like you try to open up a door for them. They're like, no, I got it. I'm like, nigga, it's a door.
It's a door.
I'm trying to help you, sir. Your hands are full. He's like, nah, I'm gonna put these down. I'm gonna go back to put these down, open the door for you.
Relax.
It's okay. Like, you know, and so I think we just need a rebranding in general on feminine energy, masculine energy, you know, and it's something that I feel like we're born with both. You know, and then they just push you to one side. You know,
check this box.
Right. It's like, oh, you're male, so you're masculine energy. And then if you don't have a lot of masculine energy as a man, then you're seen as weak. And then that reinforces the whole idea that feminine energy is weak. And it is not weak. That's some strong energy.
Strong energy. Yeah.
You receive, a seed and then pop that shit out your vagina?
Right. No, I haven't.
I haven't either, but it looks horrible.
It looks horrible.
It looks
hard.
like a lot. And then you have to raise it after it's out here. It's just,
come on, raise it.
But I'm just saying, like, both has a place. And but I feel like feminine energy has, I don't know what happened back in the day, but feminine energy has gotten a bad rep. And like you said, and I think we need to focus on the strengths of it.
Yeah.
And just because to be that soft, to be that vulnerable,
it's powerful.
Right. It is powerful to just sit back and receive. And I think, to feel worthy enough to receive.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
To
feel worthy enough to receive. Yeah.
Right. I think we're dealing with a big worth issue.
Tell me why.
Because I feel like they make it seem like feminine energy is reserved for those who are pretty and just the epitome of womanhood.
Yeah.
And if you look this certain way, and in my head, it's this blonde lady with blue eyes who is sitting in some New York brownstone, and it's just has this husband who's just working and providing for her, and it's that's the image of who I see as worthy of receiving. Okay. No man is going to meet that image. I'm not meeting that image. No woman of color is meeting that image. There's white women out there who don't meet that image. I just feel like that. So because you don't meet that image of femininity, you feel like you're not worthy of receiving. Part of me when I was younger, I didn't feel like receiving feminine energy was for me because, you don't, those statistics came out saying that only 60, I think they said 61% of women, just in the 90s, wouldn't get married. Black women wouldn't get married. So I'm that's a high number.
That is a high number.
And I'm not the epitome of femininity. Like my grandmother said, I'm not vacuuming. I'm not doing dishes. I don't know how to cook. I'm 8.
Right.
I'm not getting married. I'm not getting married. I'm not receiving shit. I need to learn how to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So wow.
I feel like, so a lot of us are walking around and we feel like we're not worthy of receiving. Yeah. And receiving is tied into spirituality. It's tied into faith. Yeah. I feel like
the manifestations.
Right. Wow. A lot of us feel like we're not worthy of receiving the life we want.
Oh God.
And it comes from feminine energy, that grounding energy, that tie into nature. You get that through embracing your feminine energy, which is vulnerability.
Yeah. Oh, geez. That's real shit.
And nobody wants to be vulnerable because everybody's scared and everybody's waiting for it to be safe.
Yeah.
Not realizing maybe if we embrace our vulnerability, things would become safer.
Yeah.
So, but it serves capitalism for us to always feel like we're not worth anything. And therefore we'll always be chasing worth. We'll be chasing something that's going to make us finally worthy of receiving, worthy of taking a break, worthy of being.
Yeah. So. You want one today. You better speak that. Wow. That's wild. You're absolutely right. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. So I think we're then to the recap, right?
Right. So have fun recapping that.
Well, I think the recap is essentially, we start off with this idea of femininity being weak, being less than, being something to run away from, to say, to prove yourself against. And as you get older, you realize that that's just not the case. And to learn how to embrace that is to learn to embrace a life of receiving, a life of deserving. And it's not just for female-bodied people. Femininity is what is needed for all of us to find the balance so that we live a very well-rounded life. And I think that's the recap.
Impressive.
Thank you.
Impressive. This is our improv queen right here. It's not just for comedy. It is for everything. You give her a whole hour and she can sum that up.
I can sum it up, baby.
That's a skill. That's a skill. That's amazing. That's exactly
Oh my goodness. This was a really, really dope episode. I would like to hash it again. Maybe we'll have some other beautiful people on here to talk about femininity, because I feel like it is just such a beautiful experience to start to embrace it.
Yeah.
And I would love to have somebody who knows more about like the tools to get you started, and maybe some some exercises so that you can rest in your femininity, and how do you like let it flourish and let it thrive. I would love that to be something that we do again with. And if you know anybody, you guys listening, who has some insight into that, please send them our way. We would love to speak to them.
Yeah.
You had a question.
No, I don't have a question. I stumbled upon somebody.
Okay.
But she's a woman, but I mean, yeah, she's a woman. And I don't know. You never know. I think I don't know her personally, but I just stumbled across her page. So you never know.
So maybe we'll see she'll come on.
Yeah, see if we do a collab. Or I would love to have like a little fireside chat with a group of people.
That would be amazing.
Just all genders, everything.
Yeah.
And just have a discussion about energy and how energy complements one another.
Ooh, that'd be dope.
The other like kind of faraway look, the reason why I had this faraway look on my face is, when you were talking about being a woman and embracing femininity, it just, the way you were describing it sounded like freedom. Mm-hmm. That freedom that we want. So maybe part of feeling free as a woman is just embracing that feminine energy you have.
Yeah.
Like that vulnerability is freedom. I feel like vulnerability is freedom.
Wow, that's true.
So are those boys really free if they're not able to? Yeah. Can you be free without vulnerability? Now that's a topic.
That's a topic which we will delve into.
So if Brene Brown ever wants to come on this podcast,
Siri, you better call her out by name. Now, do you have any shout outs for this episode?
I just want to shout out to people who've been rocking with us, who have been waiting for these episodes, who, will listen to this episode, and just, that's my shout out to everybody who supports us through the ups and downs and the mess. I appreciate you. And that is my shout out.
I love that. I ditto that sentiment. I am very appreciative of your continued support. Love you guys so much. And now we are to my favorite portion of the podcast, which, if you are new, is the meditation. What we do is take a couple deep breaths. We set an intention, another couple breaths, and I let you go about your day. So what I want you to do for me is to take a big, deep breath.
If you can't, through your nose. If you're sick, like just through your mouth.
We'll take a second deep breath. We'll take one more deep breath. Okay, and now we'll set our intention. I intend to continue following my femininity into freedom.
Oh. It is my intention to receive.
Okay, I love that. Ditto too. I'm gonna take that too.
Yeah, I want to receive. I want to receive a lot. Receive money, receive rest, receive peace and joy and love and abundance and the power that it brings. Yes. I want to receive it all.
That's beautiful. Okay, and now we'll take our last set of breaths. Take another big deep breath with me. We'll take a second deep breath. And we'll take our last deep breath. All right. Your intentions have been set for the day. Go out there and flourish, sis. Today doesn't have to be a mess.
But it's okay if it is.
So Liz, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in again. Thank you for bearing with us on our little small hiatus. Thank you for keep fucking with us, rocking with us, liking our shit, sharing our shit. Again, if there's ever a topic that you feel like you would like us to discuss, if you would ever like to be a guest on the episode, please hit us up at itsamessespodcast@gmail.com. Is there anything else we need to let the people know, Rena?
Just excited to be back. That's it.
Period. All right then. Well, we're gonna catch y'all on the flip side. Peace. It's a mess.
Hey, that's why I can't sing.
It's okay. He's gonna talk over my singing though. Okay, it's ready now.